Morning all, welcome to the video. The morning after the night before. Carabao Cup first leg semi-final. Newcastle United 0, Manchester City 2. Gutting defeat. Good game, close game. Not like other Manchester City Newcastle games at St James's Park. Well, it's been lots of goals scored. I go back to the 3-2 loss a couple of seasons ago. Oscar Bob in the final minute. I see Isak and Gordon scoring for us. Then you go back to the 3-3 in Eddie's first full season. The Trippier free kick, Miggy Almiron, Callum Wilson. It wasn't one of those. It was tight. It was close. City fans will say, oh, we didn't have our best team out, but they had some absolute ballers playing from the start. Bernardo Silva, Erling Haaland, Phil Foden, and then you bring on Shirky and Rodri off the bench. You got a Ballon d'Or winner sitting on the bench here. Not bitter, I'm just saying it was still a very strong City team. O'Reilly in midfield. Mateus Nunes is it in midfield as well. It looked like Joe Linton was going to get them rattled at one point, but it didn't. Pep took off Nunes. Anyway, so we go to the starting 11. A little bit of a surprise. The back five, as expected, although I thought Ramsdale might have a shout at getting in. Pope, Hall, Botman, Chelmiley. That's not so much through choice, through necessity at the moment. Excuse me. Midfield, there was a surprise. So you have Bruno Guimaraes, no surprise. Joe Linton, expected. Jacob Ramsey was a surprise. I did not expect to see him start. And then the front three, Anthony Gordon off the left, Johan Wissa through the middle. And another surprise, which I think, might have turned out to be foolish, was Jacob Murphy from the start, because Jacob Murphy went off with a hamstring problem. Is it hamstring? Yeah, hamstring. At the end of the first half. So, first game he's back and available for starts. Doesn't make it to halftime. Obviously, hindsight's 2020 and all that. But let's talk through it. So, starts off fairly even. We have a glaring opportunity in the first 5 minutes, and this probably justifies Murphy's selection, because Anthony Gordon was coming inside a lot, but he would go wide, he'd come inside, varying it up. But Jacob Murphy was hugging that wide touchline, and every time he was finding space, the left back was not tracking him, lost him, and every time he was onside and the ball was played out to him, fizzed out to him, whether that be Ramsey, whether that be Miley, Bruno, whoever, Joe Linton, and he put a lovely ball across the box. And Wissa, I thought he was offside, but he was on, and he takes a touch with the outside of his right foot, and you think, yes, just hit it back across the goalkeeper. Like, remember when Harry Kane was at Spurs, he'd always score the same sort of goal against us, which was touch, or he'd turn onto his left with his right foot and then hammer it back towards goal, back across goal in the bottom right hand corner. So this was a similar sort of opportunity. He took a touch with the outside of his right foot, and he's got a chance to bang it back into the bottom right hand corner, but he goes for the top left corner and it goes over the crossbar. He sort of shanked it, and you're like, oh wow. For the rest of the half, there's no other real glaring opportunities. I think there is another one where Wissa gets the ball it's played across the box, but he's offside. It was fairly even. I mean, Man City, the commentary and the pundits will glaze about Man City. Oh, they dominated the ball 60-40. For Man City, having 60% possession is not like, that's standard procedure for them, isn't it? Standard procedure, but Man City had one shot in the first half and none on target. looking back, I don't think we had any on target either. I might be wrong there. I might be wrong. But it was a very even first half. I had a voice note to my mate saying, look, I'm quite content with that first half. I'm quite happy with that. No one looks crap. Lewis Hall was absolutely, excuse me, the best player on the pitch, particularly in the first half. I thought our defence looked all right. Tiao was getting out to help Miley. Miley was struggling with Doku. But let's not forget, this is a 19-year-old central midfielder playing at right back to do a job against one of the best left wingers, one of the trickiest wingers in the league. So I thought Miley was not where he has been recently, but he was doing fine. He was doing okay. There was too many balls coming into the box, but he was doing all he could. Tiao was getting out to help him. Thought Murphy was doing good. The midfield three were okay. I would have liked a bit more control because it's like arguably Man City's second string midfield, but Man City's second team will beat most people's first team because the depth of talent they have. You know, they can afford to spend 62 million quid on a winger in January who they didn't really need. But there we go. Gordon was doing all right. Murphy was doing well. Visser looks doesn't look sharp, really sharp yet. What's my collar doing? There we go. Doesn't look really sharp yet, but I was content with that. The second half starts. We've obviously made the substitution for Barnes to come on. It looks like it's the game's getting away from us a little bit for a spell. City just come on waves and waves and waves. But then we have a bit of cut and thrust. We have some great opportunities. You know, we look really threatening from corners, set pieces. We're causing a problem. Trafford is either having to come and deal with it, or it's like a very strained header to just flick it away in time. But then the ball comes in, and I'll give Anthony Gordon praise here because I've criticised him a lot this season. I don't think his level's been anywhere near where it should be, particularly in the Premier League. His output has not been great. However, he put the ball on Harvey Barnes' forehead on the money against Bournemouth, and he did the same thing last night. Just little shimmy, little cut back into it, whip that beautiful in-swinging cross to the back post, which is so hard to defend. And it's in-swing, but it's flat, and it just looks like, a nightmare for the defenders. Johan Wisser doesn't go for the near post nod down bottom corner that Harvey Barnes did. He instead goes for like a looping header back towards the other corner, and he does well. He does it all he can. He's stretching for it. He certainly does a lot better with that chance than he does the initial one, and I would say the initial one's a lot easier. Stretching, nods it. It's a looping header. It's going in, and Trafford, it's the fingertips, the very edge of the glove that just tips it over the crossbar, or just saves it, sorry. And then it comes out, and Bruno Guimaraes on the edge of the box. Bruno looks up, and he hits it with that weird, clumsy technique that he has, but it cannons off the post. You're like, oh my God, two amazing opportunities there. And then I think it was about 5 minutes or 2 minutes later, Man City score. It is a ball in. Doku, again, causing a problem. I think it was Harvey Barnes who let him get the ball in, actually. Hang on. Yeah, well, yes, because Harvey Barnes came on for Murphy and then moved to the left. He started off in right wing and then moved to the left later on in the game. Harvey Barnes doesn't do enough. Doku gets the ball in. And it looks like a really slack bit of defending in the middle. But Bernardo Silva, the wizard, the technician, the fox that he is, gets just this little touch on the cross, which just takes it away from Botman Chow and Semenyo. I'm allowed to play for two teams in one competition. It's just ironic. It's ironic that they've just changed the rule, and Newcastle and Eddie Howe's asked about it. He says he doesn't like it, and then we suffer off the back of it. But there we go. I'm sure whoever was playing in Semenyo's place would have been in that position because they're so good, so well drilled a team. Semenyo stills in. 6 minutes later, Man City score again from a corner, direct. The ball comes in. Semenyo has, I know he's a big guy. He's a lot bigger than your average winger in terms of he looks a unit. He's strong. He's powerful. sort of gets up. Malik Chow's wrestling with Erling Haaland, gets up and just sort of outside of the foot karate kicks it in. And I'm like, what the fuck sort of defending was that? It's horrific. How easy was that? Then they're checking it for VAR. Offside. And I'm like, hang on, you can't be offside from the corner. But it's not. It's from Semenyo's shot. Erling Haaland is the player closest to the goal by centimetres. And although by the letter of the law it's the correct decision, I was looking at it thinking, wow, we have got away with one here. I do a little bit feel for Man City, a little bit. So that seemed to take forever. Thinking, well, at least there's going to be a big chunk of added time. Then the game goes back. It carries on 1-0. We are, excuse me, I'll see the goals ruled out. The game continues. We are reinvigorated. We are re-inspired. And it becomes a bit of a basketball game. It's up and forward, up and forward. One thing I will not say is I'm quite proud of that performance. It's not often you can say when your team loses, particularly at home, that you're proud of that performance, but I am. We didn't give up. We kept sticking to the task. They fought to the last second to get a goal. Certain players really stood up. I thought Bruno was excellent. Again, driving the team forward. I thought Joe Linton was really good. He's coming back into form in the last 4 or 5 weeks. Don't know where this Joe Linton has been for the rest of the season. Gordon comes off, Elanga comes on, Barnes goes to the left, Elanga to the right. Another game, yet another game that Elanga will not look back on with fondness. I think he had 1 or 2 passes that were okay, and the rest of the time, every time he touches the ball, he give it away, or it goes into touch. Bless him, it just isn't working at the minute, and it just isn't working. And that for him and Ramsey, nearly £100 million. Looks like a complete waste at the moment. It arguably, out of the 4 players we signed, 5 players, sorry, we signed on a permanent transfer, you could argue only 1 has been a real success. 1 out of 5. And he's the cheapest, Malik Chow. Anyway, for another day. Elanga's struggling, but we're going for it. Nick Voltemada comes on, has a couple of nice touches, gets in some great positions, but I don't know what it is. He just looks like he's running through cement or through treacle. There's a few balls that are there to be won, and he's just slow. I think he has one opportunity where the ball comes to him in the 18-yard box. Right in front of him, he takes a touch. He could probably shoot first time, but he takes a touch and then lays it off for someone else. And you're like, oh, Nick, just score, just shoot, mate. Your conversion rate for us is unreal. I've seen the goals you scored for Stuttgart. I've seen the goals you scored for Germany and Germany under-21s. You can finish, mate. Trust me. But perhaps there's too many bodies in the way. I don't know. There's another one where Lewis Miley and Nick Voltemada sort of bundle their way on the corner of the box. It looks like it's going to fall for one of them to have a shot, and it doesn't. It was a wonderful covering sort of tackle by somebody. Was it Nunez or Rodri? Someone like that. Then a wonderful opportunity. The ball comes in from the left-hand side. It wasn't, I don't think it was Anthony Gordon. He's off the pitch at this point. It might have been Lewis Hall. It is a wonderful cross. 95% of strikers are not going to get on the end of it from Voltemada's position, but it's the perfect cross for someone who is 6'6", and he stretches and he just misses it. It just goes past. And you're like, oh my God. And you look at where his head position was, it would have gone in the net. The pace on the cross, any connection, and that's a goal. You're like, oh no, that was the chance. That was the chance. Sandro Tonali has a decent opportunity. It sort of comes to him all of a sudden, and he more just sort of lashes at it. He doesn't have any time to control the shot, and it goes wide. Bruno has another opportunity where, again, I love Bruno Guimaraes, but in terms of striking the ball, his technique sometimes is awful. It just doesn't look fluid or smooth, does it? I've said this before. You look at the top strikers of the ball, I'm thinking, like midfield wise in my time, like Xabi Alonso, Pirlo, Luka Modric, people like that, Steven Gerrard. When they hit the ball, it looks, it's graceful, it's almost languid, it's relaxed. Whereas Bruno Guimaraes, he has to really dig it out. It's a decent strike, but it's right at the goalkeeper. But the one he hit the post with, he caught that brilliantly. And the game's just going away from us. Then in the 99th minute, Man City score again. Cherky. And it's a real sucker punch, because now that is half time in the tie. We've got to go to the Etihad and win 2-0 just to take it to extra time. I think that's tie over. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. But I cannot see us going to the Etihad, winning 2-0. I can't see us either playing 120 minutes of football and scoring 3 goals to City's none, or going all the way to penalties, scoring twice and City not scoring. I can't see it. I'm sorry, but I can't see it. But the overriding emotion is gutted, but it's what could have been. We didn't play badly. We did not play badly. That is one of the best teams in the country, arguably the best squad in the country. Arsenal City, it's very, very tight. And we didn't embarrass ourselves. We had opportunities. On another day, Vissa gets 1, maybe 2 goals. On another day, Voltemada scores. On another day, Bruno Guimaraes scores because he hits the post. City didn't pepper us. It wasn't Nick Pope save after save after save. I don't recall Pope having to make many saves. 1 or 2. One being to stop Anthony Gordon scoring an unfortunate own goal. Another one maybe with his legs. I don't... Did Erling Haaland have a shot? No. Did Semenyo rip us to bits down the wing? No. Did Doku give Miley a very hard night? Yeah. When Rodri come on, did he completely dominate the game and rip us to bits? No. Did Bernardo Silva rip us apart? No. Foden? No. So overall, the result's not what we wanted, but the performance I'm quite proud of. I'm gutted, but I thought, do you know what, boys? You give it a fucking go there. We will play better, and we have played better this season. The win against City in the league was probably a better performance overall. But in terms of that character and desire to just keep going and not let Man City, you know, Joe Linton's a bit silly. You could argue a bit childish at times, causing trouble at nothing. But that was him saying, this is my house. We are not going to let you come here and dictate the game. Bruno was the same. Yeah, we didn't let Man City have the ball and just let them have their way with us at all, which was nice to see. Top performers. Oh, I'm going to go. I thought Botman, it's nice to see, was better, although we conceded 2 goals. I thought Botman played well. I thought Anthony Gordon, he didn't stay on for the full 99, but I thought he played well. He's starting to look a bit more effective now. He's not just a penalty merchant. He's starting to provide opportunities for others. It'd be nice to see him scoring a few goals as well. Bruno was good. Joe Linton was good. No one played badly. Vissa will rue his missed opportunities. But Lewis Hall was fucking excellent. I described it on the voice note to my mate. It's like him wriggling out of trouble. It's like trying to catch a fish with your bare hands. The amount of times he'd get the ball at left back and he'd go past one and you think, right, release it now, Lewis. And he'd get closed down. There's like 2 men around him and he'd somehow wriggle out of trouble. His footwork, his dribbling ability is second to none, I would say, in that Newcastle squad. Voltemada, we've yet to see it, really, apart from a few flashes. We've yet to see his dribbling ability at his best at Newcastle, so I'm going to discount him. I've seen it for Stuttgart. in the highlights and stuff, but we haven't seen it in black and white. But aside from Voltemada, Lewis Hall, his dribbling ability, he is the best at the club. He's sensational. Covering tackles, always available to take the ball on when it's hot for other people. His passing range down the wing for Gordon and Barnes is excellent. That lovely sort of curved, floated ball that just enough backspin so they don't have to break stride. Shielding the ball, getting physical. Excellent performance. Now, if Lewis Hall can keep that performance level and remain uninjured to the end of the season, Thomas Tuchel will be giving him a phone call. I'm convinced of it. And wow, what a performance. I'm going to leave it there, 20 minutes. Not a lot more to say about signings. I have a feeling nothing's going to happen. I hope it does, because with Tino out now for, it's looking like middle of March, 8 weeks, we are very short. We have 2 players available to cover right back, one of whom is a right back currently. 2 players available to cover centre half and 1 available to cover left back. Technically 2 if you count Kieran Trippier, but 2 full-backs, 2 centre-backs, and a midfielder who can play full-back. That's all we have at the minute. So we cannot afford to wait for Dan Burn. Fabian Schär is out for 3 months. Tino Livramento is out for 2. So I think we can forget about them for the time being. Sun's coming in. Yeah, we can forget about those 2 for the time being. Dan Burn looks like he'll be back at the end of the month, but we've got games coming up between now and then. And we need somebody, even if we can just use this person as almost like a donor car, in terms of, we don't expect you to do amazing for us. We just need you on the pitch so we can rest Botman, rest Chow. You know, but we'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. That is the morning after show complete, the morning after the night before. Newcastle out. Not out, but they have a mountain to climb. It feels like they're out with the Carabao Cup. But even if we don't succeed, if this is it, it's another semi-final reached. It's gutting because it's so close to the final. A 3rd final in 4 years. Unbelievable. But it's another semi-final. We would have killed to have semi-finals in the League Cup under Steve Bruce. I remember did we get knocked out? Was it the quarters against Brentford under Bruce, or was it the last 16? I can't remember. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe and all that malarkey, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.